Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Monday, August 27th, 2012. Thank you for tuning in today. Let's take a look at the markets. We'll start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures, and you'll see that the futures are trading higher this morning by about 5 points to 14.75 per contract. Decent little pop-up on the futures. We'll see how it holds up today. This is expected to be a very light volume trading week. This is the week before the Labor Day holiday, so we generally want to give that market a slight upside bias, especially if we see the dollar falling, which it is today. The U.S. dollar index coming under a little bit of pressure, down about 6 pennies at the moment. Not that big of a drop, but nonetheless, when the dollar's down, the market is generally higher, so that is the case this morning. We'll keep an eye on it a little bit later, but right now, markets with a light volume Monday holding up pretty well, and I don't really foresee any major problems out there. But hey, you never know what can happen. Last night, though, there was one issue that every trader should keep his eyes open for, and it happened in Asia last night. The Shanghai Index really plummeting to new lows for the year. It looks like the Shanghai was down 1.74%. Therefore, if the U.S. markets do see some weakness today, watch the Chinese ADRs. They could be weak. Stocks like BIDU, which have kind of held up a little bit last week, could be, actually they're holding up pretty well today, but could be under some pressure, the Chinese ADRs, if we see some selling in the U.S. markets. If we don't, I don't think the Chinese ADRs will really be that affected. But again, if we do start to sell off here, you want to watch the Chinese ADRs, as the Shanghai Index last night was down, I believe, 1.75%. So that's a pretty big decline. That's a fresh new low for 2012. It's definitely something to be concerned about. Now, you do have oil moving higher today. It's up $1.26 at the moment on light sweet crude. That takes you to around 97.41 a barrel. Again, there's a storm out there, also a weaker dollar. That makes for the perfect storm for higher oil prices. Take a look at the USO today, trading up around 36.25. Weaker dollar, a storm out in the Gulf of Mexico, and you have higher oil prices across the board. So again, we'll see that at the pump as well. UGA, which is United States Gasoline Fund, is hitting a new 52-week high this morning. Again, gasoline now trading above $60. You see it here on a 10-minute chart, trading around 60.50. So oil, gasoline, both moving higher. Weaker dollar does not help. And then you have a storm in the Gulf of Mexico. Definitely problematic across the board. Gold is flat today. Spot gold is down I think it's down $1 here to around $16.72 an ounce. Take a look at the GLD this morning. You'll see the GLD is trading. Excuse me. GLD is trading right around 161.85. Not a big deal there, but we'll see how it plays out. Let's take a look at some stocks in the news this morning. We have a lot out there. Let's start off with Apple. Apple's catching a big bid after a pretty good result from a court hearing on Friday. It looks like they won the case against Samsung. Apple stock is surging higher. You can see here on Friday night it was trading around 662. Now trading around 682. So Apple stock is up about $20 this morning. Decent move. Could go a little bit higher as well. Can't rule that out at all, especially if the markets trade up. Apple will lead the markets higher. This will also benefit the NASDAQ 100 significantly. It will also help to lift the S&P 500, since Apple's market cap is now the highest market cap in the world. So again, Apple having a good day on the back of Friday's lawsuit results. And looks like they won a verdict over Samsung, and we'll just see how the stock trades. But it definitely has more upside. I can't rule it out. Maybe $690, $700 is in the cards. Now let's take a look at Google, which will feel the ill effects of that. Google is selling off this morning. Stock closed at 678.63 on Friday, trading down to 664. So Google's definitely under pressure today. Has a little bit of support around the 640 level, believe it or not. So Google may trade down to that area. That's a possibility. Again, not sure where you want to play Google here. I don't know how big this lawsuit will affect it, But again, Samsung did make the Android product, and that is going to have some negative effects there. But Google has a ton of support around 600 if it happened to get down there, and you just never know. That is always possible. So that would be an attractive level for Google, right around $600. Again, I'm not sure how low this thing slides right now. It's falling decently this morning, but really the only attractive level I see for the stock today, if it got even down there, and I don't think this happens today, but if it did, would be $600. All right, let's take a look at Nokia. They're benefiting from this lawsuit as well today. I think this is just a short-term pop in the stock. I don't think there's anything more than that. A lot of resistance up here around 350, 355. So watch Nokia, but nonetheless, it is catching a little morning pop. Even Research in Motion is catching a bid off of this news, and this stock is, looks as dire as any stock out there. But Research in Motion catching a nice 45 cent pop this morning on the Apple news. But again, Apple's just eating everybody's lunch here. I don't know if RIM should be that celebrated. I'd still be careful with the stock. It still looks terrible on all the charts. But again, it is catching a little bit of a bid on this news. Let's take a look at Tiffany's. Here goes Tiffany's catching a decent little bid this morning. Traded up to $63. There's just a ton of resistance at 63. Got the daily chart 200 MA there. There's also some other mathematical points at $63. Tiffany with a ton of resistance at 63 if it gets back up there. If it gets higher than that, you're going to look at 65 and then 67.07. Those would be your respective resistance points. But again, I have trouble seeing Tiffany get really significantly above 63 period. So I think that's still a very good resistance level today. Stock did have earnings. I think they guided lower for the full year, but it doesn't make a difference. All we care about is the market reaction. And right now, the market reaction is telling you 63 is the big resistance point. Let's take a look at ticker symbol DTG, which is Dollar Thrifty Automotive. Stock is being bought out today, so you want to be careful there. This is a takeover. There's nothing to do. It looks like Hertz bought out Dollar Thrifty. Leave it alone. If you own it, take profits. If you don't own it, basically leave it alone. There's nothing to do. It's just going to go sideways the way it is right here. Okay, so there's no real trade in there. I did see America Online, AOL, did do a special dividend today. There's nothing to do. The play is over. If you got your dividend, congratulations. But there's really not a lot you could do with that stock. Hudson City Bank Corp, HCBK, is being bought out, I believe, by M&T Bank. So this stock this morning, right now, is trading at 643. Not a big deal, but this is also a takeover as well. So it doesn't look like the stock's really reacting all that well. But nonetheless, I don't know the details of the takeover, but I do know I just saw that is a takeover that occurred this morning, or at least was announced this morning. So be a little bit careful there if you own Hudson City. I guess that's the end of the road. But either way, just another bank that's gone by the wayside, and less and less competition out there for the big boys. All right, let's see where we are in the futures here. Futures are still up about $5, so holding steady. Again, watch the dollar today, but I'm not sure we're going to have all that much volume. This entire trading week will get really light. I believe the Republican convention is starting as well, so I'm not sure how that's going to affect the market or what comments are going to come out of there. But either way, right now markets are holding up very well. The one warning I will give you is, though, that China was a disaster. Stock is at new lows. That should be warranted for caution. And please watch, these markets very closely. It's pretty when you see China falling like that. Everybody should be on guard that can still happen here, even though we're in a light volume period in the United States. Okay, so let's keep that on the radar. Watch those Chinese ADRs. If the U.S. markets are weak, they can also be weak as well. With that said, everybody, I want to wish you all a great trading day, and we'll see you on the charts tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody.